toll is rising after major earthquakes shake Turkey and Syria. How the U.S. plans to help.
We continue to track the potential for wintry weather across the area. I'll time it all out for you and tell you whether or not you could see snow in your neighborhood coming up.
Fox lineup, First Alert Weather. We are committed to you.
For just $5, you can get your choice between 2 sandwiches plus my classic taco, curly fries, and a drink.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sure. For just $5. Try my $5 Jack Pack today.
Behind every journey is the road that got you there, and your Carolina Ford dealer is there for every mile. That's what it means to be true. Right now, get great offers on a wide selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. Ford trucks and SUVs ranked #1 in brand loyalty. We're going the extra mile so you'll be true blue too. Now get 0% financing for 36 months on a new 2022 Ford Escape, Edge, or Explorer only at your Carolina Ford dealer.
Life is full of ifs. But if you can cash flow like a pro, safeguard against surprises, and supercharge your savings with Regions Life Banking, the if in life becomes less iffy.
Regions Bank, embrace the if in life.
There was a time when the world whispered, when quiet blanketed the meadows, stillness eased our minds, and all the sharp edges softened in the gently falling snow. There was a time when we hiked in wordless wonder, and the only sound we heard was the steady beating of our grateful hearts. It was a peaceful time. It was winter. This winter at Biltmore. Reconnect at Biltmore. Reserve your overnight stay.
Save money on your next appliance with Answers. We specialize in open box and scratch and dent items. That's big savings on brand name refrigerators, washers, dryers, and more. Fanning's Appliances, Fountain Inn, Easley, and now open on Greenville Highway, Welford.
All right, people, it's Valentine's Day. Everything has to be perfect.
Here's Steph.
At Ingalls, we know that not every Valentine's Day is perfection, with string quartets and swanky restaurants.
My boyfriend bought me flowers.
That it's not the money you spend or the elaborate lengths you go to.
Happy Valentine's Day.
It just has to come from the heart. Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
Note the unprecedented neurophysiological response. Your grilled chicken sandwich with good sauce really stimulates craveability.
Dumb that down for me.
Big and squiggly is good.
Big and squiggly is real good.
All I needed to hear. My grilled chicken sandwiches. Tasty and healthy-ish.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
That's what I said.
A deal so good it's worth repeating. Eat and repeat while it lasts. It's Bo time.
You're watching Fox Carolina, the 10 o'clock news.
Well, we're learning new details tonight on the unknown flying object that was shot down over Alaska yesterday. And the Pentagon says it's not similar in size or shape to the Chinese surveillance balloon that was shot down last week, but we are told it was considered to pose a threat to civilian flights. And the Pentagon says that there's still not a lot known about this particular object.
We have no further details about the object at this time, including any description of its capabilities, purpose, or origin. The object was about the size of a small car, so not similar in size or shape to the high-altitude surveillance balloon that was taken down off the coast of South Carolina on February 4.
And the U.S. military says it also did not appear to have the maneuverability capabilities that the confirmed spy balloon had. And the U.S. is ramping up its assistance to Turkey and Syria following Monday's devastating earthquakes. The White House says that it is proving $85 million to help with responses and rescues and structural damage assessments. Teams already are on the ground as more rubble is cleared away from the demolished buildings, and search continues. The death toll, unfortunately, continues to climb in Turkey and Syria. Fox News senior foreign affairs correspondent Greg Polak has more from Turkey.
Crews here in southern Turkey are still hard at work clearing debris following the massive earthquakes on Monday. The death toll still climbing. More than 22,000 people are now confirmed dead, but there are still stories of survival emerging. Multiple rescues reported on Friday. Crews pulling out people buried for more than 4 days, including a 17-year-old boy who was in good spirits when first responders reached him. His relieved mother vowing never to leave his side.
God bless my son, who doesn't leave me alone for an hour. May everyone be blessed as well.
The scope of the damage here is unimaginable. Entire towns have been virtually wiped off the map, and with resources stretched thin, a full-blown humanitarian crisis is starting to emerge. Turkey's president promising to get the situation under control.
Unfortunately, it is a fact that we have not been able to respond as fast as we hoped. We will provide our citizens who do not want to stay in tents with houses.
The UN estimates the quakes left more than 5 million homeless in Syria alone. They're now rushing aid into the region and asking the international community to do the same, with housing the top priority at the moment.
We are focusing very much as UNHCR on shelter and relief items, tents, plastic sheeting, and of course I mentioned earlier the thermal blankets, the sleeping mats, winter clothing, and so on.
And again, that was Greg Palcott reporting. The Turkish government now says that about 12,000 buildings in the quake zone have either collapsed or suffered serious damage. On a follow-up, the National Transportation Safety Board is taking a deeper dive into an investigation following a near-miss incident at JFK's airport. Federal safety experts are looking into why an American Airlines 777 crossed into an active runway without clearance last month. Now, the move forced a Delta 737 to abort its takeoff to avoid a collision. The NTSB has issued a subpoena for the testimony of the American Airlines pilots involved. And for the latest on stories just like these, be sure to download our Fox Carolina News app. Just scan the QR code right there on your screen and you can get notifications right to your phone. Now we're going to turn things over to meteorologist Chrissy Kohler for another look at our crazy forecast out there.
That's right. It's a complicated one, and we're starting to see this play out now. Of course, we've got the heavy rain moving in. Some of you tweeting at us, sending us the reports of the thunder that we've heard in parts of the upstate this evening as well. Plus, we've got a little bit of mixing happening in the mountains as well. So now through Monday morning, we've got a first alert weather day throughout the day on Sunday, and now we're throwing in Monday morning in the mountains as well, with the potential for black ice on Monday morning. So the issue for tomorrow is going to be the accumulating snow in the mountains, mainly through the higher elevations, but also with some of that ice mixing in, sleet and even some freezing rain, plus those freezing temperatures into Monday morning means that anything that's fallen throughout the day tomorrow means we could be talking about refreezing as we head into Monday morning, temperatures down in the 20s and 30s. So black ice could be an issue for the Monday morning commute. Right now, of course, we're watching this rain moving in. You've got pockets of heavy rain working its way across the upstate, and again, some of that mixing into the mountains. As we zoom in and take a closer look here across the upstate, right now it's all liquid precipitation, much too warm. Plus, we've got this warmer layer above the surface for us to see much of anything other than rain. But heavy rain in Bradley, out towards Greenwood, into Newberry along I-26 where it splits with 385. You've got some heavier rain around Lawrence as well, back in towards parts of Abbeville, down towards Fountain Inn, just to the south of Cross Anchor. Very heavy rain up around Spartanburg into Surratt, and this is on the northern parts of Cherokee County as well as along I-85 all the way down into Spartanburg. A little further to the west, it lightens up a little bit out towards Easley, into Salem, Torcoa, and into Clemson. And then we throw in that mixing happening in the higher elevations up around Cashers and towards Dunn's Rock as well into the mountains. It's all rain in Forest City, Green Creek, even Lake Lure up towards Marion. But then you look up towards Grassy Creek and Bakersville, and that's where you're seeing some of that snowflakes mixing in right now. Temperature-wise, in the lower elevations, we're above freezing. Upstate, you're in the low 40s. In the mountains, that's where you're getting a little closer. Waynesville, Brevard, hovering just above that freezing mark, but warm enough that it's liquid precipitation in those lower elevations right now. I'll time this all out for you, show you future cast, and give you an idea of what you can expect for tomorrow morning coming up in just a few minutes. Anna?
All right, thanks, Chrissy. When we've got new details, officials learning of a $3.5 billion mistake. Now, South Carolina lawmakers want to know how a major error in the state's annual financial report goes unnoticed for at least a decade. Fox Carolina's Brooklyn Cromer gets to the bottom of this years-long error.
During how many years was the state's cash position misstated?
Roughly 10.
10 years.
Roughly 10.
Going back a decade.
A Senate finance panel asking Comptroller General Richard Ekstrom some tough questions about the $3.5 billion oversight.
At what point did you know something was wrong? Was that last year, 5 years ago, or when did folks start understanding?
We knew something was wrong in April of this year when we finally documented where the problem was. Prior to that, we had these differences we couldn't easily explain or couldn't logically explain.
When did that occur? Was that in April, or was that years ago when there are anomalies that couldn't be explained?
The difference began mounting probably 3 years earlier.
The state's chief accountant says the state accounting system had been double counting money transferred to colleges and universities since at least 2012. The office first noticing the error during the pandemic. That's 9 years after it started.
Because of the infusion of COVID money that got passed out to colleges and universities. And it was only the transfers from colleges and universities that created this.
Ekstrom telling the Senate subcommittee the state has not been spending money it does not have, and it will not impact this year's budget, but could not say for sure if this would impact the state's credit rating.
Do you anticipate this is going to be a problem moving forward as far as the state's credit rating?
I'm not expecting it, but I wouldn't rule it out. Okay. I don't want to mislead you.
Senate Finance Committee Chair Harvey Peeler from Cherokee County says senators will get to the bottom of this.
Right now, we want to know what happened, why it happened, and what we're doing to make sure it never happens again.
Brooklyn Cromer, Fox Carolina News.
Well, coming up, love may be blind, but you don't want to be blind to this romance scam. We'll tell you what to look out for when we come back.
This very dynamic system continues to push through the area. We've got more rain on the way with the potential for wintry weather. I'll detail all the headlines coming up.